Today we're going to be talking about exfoliation. It seems to be my most requested text message after a treatment. Everybody wants to know when they can exfoliate, so we're gonna hopefully hit everything today. Everyone is still logging on while we're getting ready. I have a little poll just to find out who's in attendance. If you can just check a box that fits your role, and then we'll move on. Okay, guys. Today it's all about exfoliation. So thank you for tuning in. So why did I pick the topic exfoliation today? Well, as you guys know, I'm an esthetician, and whenever I perform a treatment on somebody, whether they're getting a hydrofacial, a chemical peel, needling, whatever, I give all of my clients my phone number, and I want them to text me to let me know how they're doing. And just about always, I get a text back within 2, 3 days saying, I'm flaking, my skin is dry. Is this normal? Now, mind you, this only happens usually with my clients that are new to my practice. Once we've had a relationship, an exchange of information, they then know that it's very normal. I wanted to pull this screen up of the layers of skin because this is just so important, and it's going to give you a real visual throughout today's webinar on the function of the skin and how it works. I thought this was really cool. The cycles of cell production slow as we age. Look at how quickly our cells turn over when we're infants. They can do surgery on an infant in the womb, and the baby comes out and it's completely scarless. It heals over perfectly. Just to show you how incredibly potent our skin is. And our skin is meant to protect us from disease, from water, from so many different things, and it regulates heat. We have touch through skin, but as we age, it's slower to turn over. So for me, I'm in my late 40s. I'm looking at 45 to 60 days of turnover. So that means that where the cells kind of start off is in the basal layer. So that's at the very bottom of the dermis, or of the epidermis rather, right at the very top of the dermis. So that's where your cells kind of germinate. They your melanocytes kick in. That's where all the magic happens, and everything rises up to the surface. So for a cell to start off and then rise up from the basal layer to the stratum spimosum, the granular layer, the horny layer, and then up to the top where we can actually touch and feel it, every decade, it's going to take that much longer. So this is why I have so many clients that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and up using a retinol or a tretinoin. I think it's a little bit of a myth that using retinols can thin your skin. Now, certainly if you're using it every single night, yes, but I think it's really important to have a built-in vitamin A that's going to increase your cells to turnover. Okay, so I think you guys get an idea of this graph. I want you to keep it in your brain, because as we go through the screens, I want you to imagine what layer of skin that treatment is affecting. Okay, exfoliation types. So this is fun. So I have 3 categories. In each category, there is another subset of many different ingredients, but I just thought that this would kind of keep it nice and simple. And we're going to dive into each one much deeper. So physical exfoliation is something that you do at home. It is a form of usually like a little bead that kind of rolls over the skin and catches it and grabs it and then sloughs it off. We can use salt, we can use sugar. We're going to go into that a little bit more in a second, but this form of exfoliation, I want you to know, physical exfoliation is a big no-no after we drastically exfoliate the skin. So you don't want to use physical exfoliation after a chemical peel, after a Fraxel, after a CO2. We're going to use a different type of exfoliation because the way in which it's removing the skin is friction, and that causes heat and that causes inflammation, and we don't want that. So we're gonna go through that in a second, but I wanted to also talk about chemical exfoliants. So chemical exfoliants are pretty much what your esthetician, what your dermatologist, what your nurse is using on you when you come in for a chemical peel. There are so many types of chemical exfoliants: alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids. There's actually several. There's Gesner peels, but we're going to kind of stick to what the estheticians use versus what you use at home. So we're going to dive into that too. And then one of my favorite forms of exfoliation is enzymes. I think enzymes are very underrated. I am actually coming out with my own line of enzymes called Rise Enzyme. So you'll be seeing that soon. But enzymes are important because they remove dead tissue in a very gentle way without injuring live tissue. So we're going to go through all these. We're going to start with the physical exfoliation. So let's move to the next screen. Okay, so people always ask me, what do you prefer, salt or sugar, when it comes to a scrub, whether it's a body scrub or a facial scrub? I personally love sugar. Sugar has such a it has a valuable component because it's a humectant. It pulls moisture in, pulls water in. People that are in the equine industry and the horse industry know that if a horse has an abscess on its hoof, we used to pack it with sugar, wrap it up real tight, and the next day we'd come out and unwrap it, and all that inflammation, all of the pus would have been drawn out of the hoof. So it pulls moisture in towards it. Great for acne, guys. If you have active acne, you have pustules, sugar is incredible. As you know, I make sugar scrubs for Bella Thorne. She's obsessed with them. They are much more than just sugar. We use things like broccoli oil from the seed of the plant. So they're highly antimicrobial, antibacterial. But that's just me. Salt has its place because salt is full of minerals. So yeah, salt is good. There's a device on the market called Salternative. I have it. I love it. It exfoliates the skin with sea salt. Super gentle, but it's great again for a more acne prone skin. I find that it can dry out drier skins because an acne prone skin, or a skin with acne, is very acidic. So the salt makes it a little bit more alkaline, which the acne doesn't like. So acne thrives at an acid pH. So we kind of just sweet that a little bit with the salt, and we can really get a nice result when you see your esthetician. So exfoliation, physical, it starts from scrubs, and we go to microdermabrasion. So microdermabrasion, hydrodermabrasion. Microdermabrasion has been around for many, many years. This is what you get when you go to see your esthetician. And they're going to use a diamond tip. That's my favorite form of exfoliation. Or they're going to use a vacuum something like hydrofacial or silk peel. I think silk peel has been bought out by Allergan and they're calling it glow something. But if you just Google silk peel, you can find it. All three of those categories are an esthetician's must have. And I think that, you know, your esthetician is going to let you know how often you need to come in to exfoliate your skin. But exfoliating your skin by a professional versus doing it at home is really important because we're removing just enough dead tissue so that our active ingredients can penetrate deeper. So we don't want that dead tissue layer to soak up all of our peptides, all of our vitamin C, all of our cytokines. Those are expensive ingredients. So we want to make sure that it's traveling down to the dermis. Dermaplaning is a really popular treatment and it's physical. Dermaplaning is just literally shaving off the outermost layer of skin. Very common to do before a chemical peel for certain skin types, not all of them. Shaving, which is basically dermaplaning, but it's just done in a slightly different way. Shaving, guys that shave exfoliate their skin constantly. So if you've ever noticed somebody that's shaving that has a thick beard, their skin in this area where they're shaving is usually just really, really soft because of the exfoliation. Dry brushing is really popular for the body. I don't recommend it for the face, but dry brushing also is a form of exfoliation, and you're just brushing off the dead skin cells. So this really sums up the physical types of exfoliation. So if you have any questions, I'm going to let you guys type them in now and we can answer some of them. And then we're going to go to the next screen. Okay, so what do you guys do at home? Just curious. Physical, chemical, enzymes, or all of the above? And you actually can do all of the above at home, just so you know. We are not using the chat box, guys. We're using Q&A. So for any Q&As, okay. Oh, good one, Rachel. So the question is, would I do a physical exfoliation before a light chemical peel on a client? Absolutely, absolutely. Especially for thicker, oily, sebaceous skin, we definitely want to exfoliate that skin before we lay down a chemical peel. We can dermaplane. We can have the client use a retinol up until the day of the peel. That's another way to get the skin to shed itself. All my retinol-based peels, I have my clients actually use their retinol every night for 3 or 4 days up until that appointment. So yes. Oh, good one, Leticia. How much should we be exfoliating every week? So this really depends on your skin. If you have thin skin that's in your 40s or 50s, probably twice a week with a gentle, mild exfoliant, maybe less. It just really depends on your skin, and you have to determine what is enough exfoliation. So if you're using retinol every other night and then you feel like you're a little flaky in the morning and it's continuing in throughout the day, maybe that's a little too much retinol. So maybe you need to move to a retinaldehyde or put on a facial oil before the retinol as a buffer, or use it less frequently. I mean, it just really depends. So should I do a chemical peel when I have an active blemish, or wait till the blemish is gone? So I plow right over blemishes. So a lot of my clients are acneic and they come in with a lot of blemishes. I'll do extractions and then I'll put the chemical peel right on top of it. It heals over beautifully, absolutely beautifully. The only The only type of acne that I'm very careful with is cystic acne. So with cystic acne, we have, you know, certain protocols for that, but just normal pimples, papules, pustules, yeah, I go right over it with chemical peel. Okay, guys, so let's move to the next segment of our exfoliation. So our next segment is types of chemical exfoliants. Oh, I have one more question here. Would you say that something similar? Okay, so the question is, let's answer this real quick before we hit chemical exfoliants. So Abby, to answer your question, would you say that something similar to Dermalogica's microfoliant is better than a more abrasive one, or does it matter? So I remember Dermalogica's microfoliant from years ago. I love Dermalogica. I think it's a great line. It's gentle. I think it's gentle. It's super gentle. I have this other one too that's very similar by Cosmetics. It's Purity Detox Scrub. It is one of my favorites. It's actually a powder physical exfoliator, but it has a little bit of salicylic in there too. It's dry. And then when you add a little water, it reconstitutes. It's amazing to use that for acne prone skins because you've got the benefits of the little beads and then the salicylic acid to dry everything out. Love it. Can I do extractions at home? You can, as long as your esthetician shows you how to do them. Okay. Ooh, Jill. Hello, Jill. I'm trying to look for your. Okay, I think she says before reveal peel. So before reveal peel, we can exfoliate the skin. We can have our clients use a retinol before. That's really mostly for really, really oily skins. I'll have them use a retinol. I think that pretty normal, regular skin types, dry skins, can go right into the reveal peel and come out with an amazing outcome. Okay. Oh, I have another one too, but I can't see the question. Okay, here we go. How many times a week should I use a retinol? Is it normal to feel a little burning after you apply it? So Lily, I think that if you're using a retinol and it feels burning, it's hot, it's probably too strong for you. So there's a couple ways to combat that. You know, you have the retinol, it's powerful, it's potent, you don't want to really throw it away. A, it's expensive, B, it's wasteful. You can actually use a facial oil or a moisturizer underneath. So apply that first and then put your retinol over it and it will act as a buffer. It's really helpful. I my clients do it all the time until they can take a little bit of a stronger retinol. So your skin adapts to retinol, retinoic acid, tretinoin, all of it. But yes, do I like the perfect derma peel? I do. I think it's great. It's a great straightforward peel, that and the VI. Okay, guys, now we're going to dive into chemical exfoliants. So let me click out of this so I could see it. Okay, cool. So chemical exfoliation, I know it sounds scary, but it's not that scary. So I started at the top with the least invasive, and as we go down, it becomes more invasive. So as we kind of go through into the BHAs downward, that's really where your esthetician is going to properly recommend and administer those chemicals. AHAs are chemicals that you can use yourself at home. So AHAs are water soluble. They, lactic acid is an AHA, glycolic is an AHA. I am not a fan of glycolic acid. I know I'm going to get a lot of crap from that, but I don't like it. It's unpredictable for me. I have a lot of clients that are using retinol and it just doesn't play nice with other acids. It doesn't play nice with retinol. It can really, really light you up, causing a rash, causing inflammation. Glycolic acid causes inflammation. So I stay away from it. I don't have it in my practice, but there are some cleansers out there with a light little glycolic acid in it. You can use it a couple of times a week, depending upon your level of your level of acne, how thick your skin is, how oily your skin is. I think using an AHA twice a day, like a cleanser, is just way too much for anybody. So maybe like if you're really acneic, you could start nightly with it, and then kind of wean off to like 2 or 3 nights a week. BHA, so beta hydroxy acid is, you're going to know the most famous acid is salicylic acid. So salicylic acid is a BHA, beta hydroxy acid, and it comes from willow bark, the willow bark tree, and it also is basically aspirin. So salicylic acid is aspirin. I love salicylic acid because 90% of my clients are acneic, and would die without it. But it's a great acid because it sinks down. It's oil soluble, so it actually gets in deep, the bottom of the pore, where all the trouble starts. And it's able to kind of eat its way through blackheads and sebum and all that, and really get down to do some good work, and to reduce the bacteria levels. And I want you guys to start asking your questions. I'm not going to answer you till we're finished all of this, but I'm going to run through all of these right now. So hold your questions off till we get to TCA, and then we'll flip screens, and then you can ask questions. But we're going to go back to that screen that we were just on, chemical exfoliation. Okay, so retinoic acid, y'all know what that is. Retin-A, retinoic acid, tretinoin. It is something that has to, if it's stronger, it needs to be done in a medical setting. There are retinoic acids out there by companies like cosmetics that are phenomenal. They're time released. I highly recommend retinols. I mean, there really isn't anybody that can't use it unless you're pregnant or nursing. And why? They just haven't done any tests, and they're not going to, so that's why. I don't think anybody wants to say, yeah, I'm gonna submit myself and my unborn baby to a test. No, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, retinoic acid, super common, super popular. It's a, I was talking earlier a little bit about it, but vitamin A is so important, and I think it gets a little bit of a bad rap. They talk about people that overuse vitamin A and their skin is super thin. Well, if you're using it every night, yeah, it's a little bit of an overkill, but you can use retinol, any form of retinol, every other night. Why? Because you're going to let your skin have that 24-hour to recoup itself. When you're using retinol every night at that level, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to be a little flaky. I want to see some flakes. It means my retinol's working. That's when we can use other forms of exfoliation to remove those flakes. So it's like exfoliation on so many levels, but you're actually using other forms of exfoliation to help exfoliate the skin when we're doing things like chemical peels, lasers, microneedling. You need gentler forms of exfoliations to assist with that. One of my favorite acids is azelaic acid. I'm obsessed with it. Azelaic acid, actually, it's a yeast that's found on our skin, but it is derived from, I think it is derived from wheat, barley, and rye. Super gentle. It's has to be in a greater than a 10% strength for it to really work. There are some pharmaceuticals on the market. I know there's Finacea. Finacea is, I think, 13% azelaic acid. Love Finacea. It's great for acne-prone skins because it actually reduces inflammation in the skin. So a lot of acids can cause inflammation. Azelaic acid calms the skin down while it's exfoliating. Pretty cool. And I have it built into a lot of my chemical peels. So it's in there, it's buckled in. I have a straight azelaic acid, retinoic acid chemical peel for acne-prone clients, super popular. And then with azelaic acid, you're not, like, your whole face isn't falling off. It's just a very slow roll, kind of gentle peel. And I think that's why a lot of clients like it too. So TCA, Jesner's, those are a little more intense. So Jesner's is your standard 14, 14, 14 of lactic, resorcinol, and salicylic acid. TCA comes in a variety of strengths, very spicy on the skin, but these are the types of peels that when you do these peels, the TCA, the Jesner's, you're gonna get, it's more of a medium depth peel. So you're gonna go down to like close to the basal layer, Remember, we had that screen up early with all the different layers of skin. So we're going deeper into that skin, going more down towards the dermis. So recovery time is going to be a little longer. Oftentimes when I'm doing those intense peels on clients, they're going to peel, usually start peeling 2 to 3 days after we apply it, and you peel for anywhere from 5 to 7 days. So it's like 10 days before you're pretty good. Oftentimes we need to use gentle enzymes to help get that dead skin off, but not too soon. It's important not to use it within that 7-day window because you can actually kind of burn the skin a little bit. So yeah, I mean, there are so many different types of acids, but just make sure that whatever your esthetician is recommending, you want to always ask for, the post care of that. If you're getting a treatment done that is going to make you peel, which pretty much everything is except for like microcurrent, you should have an enzymatic and a physical exfoliant on hand to help assist with removing all that dead tissue, because you don't want to harm living tissue. And that's the most important thing during a chemical peel. Don't harm living tissue. Now remember, our dead tissue layer is meant to protect our skin. So it's important not to over exfoliate the skin. When I'm recommending a series of chemical peels, I like to do chemical peels in 3s or 6s, and then I'll pop in a microneedling every once in a while just to kind of get those cells to move up a little quicker, give them a dose of some mesenchymal stem cells. But yeah, I mean, you really want to just care for your skin when it's exfoliating. Zero sun, like zero sun, no sun whatsoever. You need to literally not go in the sun for a month after you receive a chemical peel, in the chemical range. So all the chemicals that we just discussed, no sun for 1 month, and lots of sunscreen, and lots of big brim hats, guys. All right, so let's open that up to Q&As. Lots of them. Okay, I use Tazorac at a 0.05 every night, and sometimes throw in glycolic sal 5% pads under it. Do you think that is okay? I don't feel dry or burning, maybe just sometimes with the glycolic pads, but not super bad. So if that's something that works for you and your skin can handle it and you're not red and irritated, it works for your skin. But that combination is not going to work for a lot of people. But like I said, it works for you, go for it. If you feel like you have a little inflammation in your skin, like if it's textured and red, especially like in the cheek area, that can mean that it's too strong. So I'd love to see you in my clinic, Sabrina, to see if that is really causing inflammation in the skin. And I'd want to know more how often you're using that as well. Ooh, another good one. Okay, I tried doing an extraction before, but it bleeds and it just comes back. How can I get rid of it? So it just depends on what kind of pore we're looking at. If it's a pore that is like visually you can see the sebum coming through, it's got a white head or a black head, you just have to warm it up with a little bit of an enzyme, steam it, hot towel, and then you can put a little pressure on either side underneath to push it out. I have my clients that are doing their own extractions at home that absolutely have to, because they can't, go to work without doing it. I'll have them dip a Q-tip in a little bit of hydrogen peroxide and just put a dab right on the area that they expressed, just to kill the rest of that bacteria so they don't get a worse breakout or rebound breakout. Any tips before doing a chemical peel at home? Yes, so find out what kind of chemical peel it is. If it's a retinol-based chemical peel, I personally like to have my clients using retinol for like I said, 3 to 5 days up into the peel. You're gonna really get a nice deep peel with that. But it just depends. It depends on what your esthetician's recommending. Sometimes a physical exfoliant is better than a chemical, just so the skin isn't kind of going crazy. Can lactic acid be used every night? Yes, lactic acid is super gentle. Our bodies produce lactic acid, so we actually have a receptor for it, so it plugs in. We know what to do with it. Lactic acid is one of the few acids that you can use while you're pregnant or nursing. Super gentle. Yeah, I mean, you can use it, but if you're, like I said, if you just had a chemical peel, if you just had something invasive, a laser, your skin is raw and tight, lay off the acids for a little bit, let your skin naturally heal itself over. And then once you've healed over and you have some kind of like a little bit of residual flaking, then you can build the lactic acid back in. You can build the enzymes back in. A lot of enzymes have lactic acid in their ingredients because they work really well together. How many layers is best results for chemical peel? I don't think I understand the question. How many layers? So chemical peel, it depends on the peel. It depends on how, you know, how much exfoliation you want to get, how much downtime you want. So it all depends on what your esthetician thinks is the best fit for you. Why is TCA a non-toxic and it doesn't have a Prop 65 label in California? I don't know. TCA, I mean, you have to be careful with tetrachloric acid, be careful with it, but I'm not quite sure about the Prop 65 label. I think like I've seen that Prop 65 label before, but I'm not sure what it means. I have to look into it. If your client has dry, thin skin, late 60s, what peel exfoliation would you recommend? Lactic? I mean, honestly, lactic acid isn't going to create collagen production, and that's what we want with that age of skin. We want to produce collagen. So I would go to, you know, I would go to the Reveal peel. It's deeper, it's more intense. I'd go to a TCA peel. I'd even go to a phenol peel. You want to lay down more collagen, right? That's the whole purpose. So the deeper the peel, the stronger the acid, the more collagen you're going to initiate. So yeah, my older clients, if we're doing a peel to pull up pigment, to smooth over fine lines and wrinkles, we're going to bring out the big guns. We're going to do Jesner, we're going to do TCA, we're going to do maybe phenol. I mean, yeah, we're going to definitely do the bigger peels. All right, guys. One more question. With the 30-day peel that you're offering through Laura, how long does the peeling process last? All 30 days. So good question. So I have a new peel out that we just formulated in our office. It's actually a depigmentation system. And I can compare it to, do you guys remember like back in the day when Obagi had that 30, 60, 90-day program? It was like a 90-day program that basically just pulled your skin off and gave you new skin. Kind of like what this does, but it does it in a very gentle way. So the acids are almost buffered. It's in a glycerin base, super gentle. You do peel the first week like you would with any normal peel. I mean, there's a lot of peeling, a lot of redness, a lot of crustiness. But after you go through that first 10 days almost, there's a version of the peel that you're using every night on your skin to really influence those skins, to suppress their ability to make pigment. So it suppresses tyrosinase. And you come out of that peel 30 days later with newly textured skin. So your pores are refined, your pigment is lifted, you're brighter, your skin is more even. It really checks all the boxes. And it's so much more than a peel. It really is a full depigmentation, retexturizing system. It is called Reveal Peel. And if you're curious about it, go on my Instagram on social media and just DM me and I'll tell you all about it. Okay, so here's another question. For someone who's in their mid-20s and the hormones are changing, frequent breakouts, have never had any acne, problem with skin, always clear, what do you recommend for must-haves for skin routine? So mid-20s is a really important time to start integrating proper skincare. I would get on a quarterly routine of getting a chemical, like a medium depth chemical peel once a quarter. So that's 4 times a year. That's going to help to keep the skin brighter. Sunscreen. You know, 85% of our aging is extrinsic. It comes from outside elements like UV, radiation. So, I mean, wear sunscreen, douse yourself in it, because you want to keep your skin that way, 20s, all the way up until, you know, death. So yeah, I mean, definitely start getting in a routine, really good skincare. I mean, skincare, yeah, you should be on retinol too. You should be using vitamin C during the day, green tea, a mega antioxidant. Definitely seek out an esthetician to get you on a skincare regimen. Um, Estheticians are really the backbone of the skincare industry. And it is so important for everybody to have an esthetician, whether you see them twice a year or twice a month. Find one that you like and stick with it. Don't bounce around. Um, and don't go off like a Groupon ad. Go off of somebody that you know that has phenomenal skin and ask them who they see. It's really, all of my business is really word of mouth and Instagram, which is another form of word of mouth. Can you recommend a natural sunscreen? So by natural, I think you mean no, no chemicals, a chemical free. Yes, I can. I love, if you're looking for supernatural, Baby Ganix is pretty natural, but it's thick, white, goopy. I mean, you're going to look like Casper. Most people don't want to look like that. I use it when I go to the beach, because I don't care what I look like anymore, way past that. So I douse myself in it. I pretty much glow when I'm at the beach because I'm so white with zinc. But yeah, I mean, Isden makes a really great sunblock, chemical free. Elta MD is another great brand. They have a line specifically for acne prone skin, which is fantastic. So go check out Elta MD and Isden USA. What do I think of Elta? Love it. Love it. They use a little sprinkle of niacinamide in their clear sunblock. So niacin is really great for acne prone skin. Okay, so we're going to go to the next screen. Oh, my favorite topic, proteolytic enzymes. Oh, Jen, you have another question. Do you dislike moisturizers with a thick white texture? Hate them. I hate them. I do. I really am not a big fan of moisturizers. I like hyaluronic acid. I like peptides. I like facial oils, fatty acids. Not a big fan of quote unquote moisturizers. But you could DM me, Jen, and we could talk more about that later. Okay, guys, I'm going to switch over to enzymes. So enzymes are really like, for me, I don't know what I would do without my enzymes. I have gotten into the routine of using them 2 to 3 times a week. And enzymes they're so gentle. They don't affect living tissue. Their only job is to eat the dead skin. That's the glue that's holding the cells onto the skin. So when you have dry skin, say it's the winter and your skin is dry, like you're looking at your arms, your legs, you're super dry, throw on some enzymes, 15 minutes, that's all it takes. Put a hot towel, like squeeze a really hot towel, put it over top of the enzymes for like a minute or two. And then you take that towel and really rub hard, and you can literally see dead skin coming off. Then you use your body moisturizer, your body oil, and you will never have dry skin again. I swear. It's incredible. You can use enzymes after things like chemical peels, lasers, plastic surgery. They're really safe to use. They don't alter the pH of the skin, but you have to know how to use them. So again, connect with your esthetician, and he or she can really get you on a great enzyme. I am coming out with a line of enzymes very soon. I know if you're my clients, you know all about this. It's called Rise Enzyme. I just started it on my Instagram page, so go follow it and like it. But I called it Rise Enzyme because I think we should exfoliate in the morning, don't you? I mean, we're using retinols at night. Our skin cells are turning over at night. We wake up and we have kind of residual product on from our skin from the night before. We have dead skin. Put your enzymes on. Leave them on for 10, 15 minutes max. And like I said, squeeze out a hot towel, put it over the face, or jump in the shower. And then you want to use something with a little friction. I like a cotton, like a washcloth, and I really get in there vigorously, and you can see the dead skin come off. So your active ingredients are just going to work so much better for you. You're going to be brighter. Over time, you can even lift a little bit of pigment. So yeah, enzymes are just where it's at. The fruits that they're most commonly found in are papaya, pineapple, and kiwi. See like my little papaya image here? So I actually grow papaya. I live in Hermosa Beach, and I decided that I wanted to grow papayas because I'm from the East Coast, and it's always been a dream of mine to have fruit trees on my property. So like 5 years ago, we decided to start papaya plants from the seeds, and you just scoop out the seeds, you put them in dirt, you water them, and you put them in the sun, and then boop, 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 you grow these little papaya plants. And I have trees that are 13 feet tall. I will show you later. They are badass, and they are giving me tons of papayas. So if you're in a hot climate, grow papayas. Papayas, pineapple, just so you guys know this, proteolytic enzymes, really amazing, not just for your skin, but for digestion. So if you are having issues with your tummy, I love to eat pineapple and papaya by themselves. I don't eat any other foods with them when I'm eating them, because those enzymes actually will reduce inflammation in the gut. So if you're eating them with food, you're helping it break down the food. Another whole subset of why enzymes are so fantastic. But if you feel like you're having issues, you can eat papaya and pineapple by itself. I usually eat it twice a day, first thing in the morning, and then in the afternoon as a snack. And it reduces inflammation in my body. I have a little bit of arthritis in my hands, totally normal. My neck is all screwed up with inflammation. I do that every single day, and I even eat it sometimes with my food just to help my food break down. But also great for your skin. Okay, so when do we exfoliate? So do we have any questions? I see some over here. Okay, I feel like I always see physical exfoliators everywhere and not enzymes. What enzymes would you recommend or should I just wait for yours? Of course you're going to wait for mine, Sabrina. So yeah, I mean, I think I posted some. I love Jan Marini's Skinzyme. It's really nice. Cosmetics makes one called Pure Enzymes. It is a little intense, strong, but it's great. I have a lot of my clients using it after chemical peels and things like that. But something that you can use like every other morning or every third morning is going to be my Rise Enzyme. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. It's pretty cool. I think the first, I'm working on two. One of them is banana scone and blueberry pancake. So good. So they're all like morning breakfast flavors because we use it in the morning. But yeah, love my enzymes. Okay, let's go to the next screen. And if you guys have any questions, pop them up now. I think we answered all of those. If I didn't answer your question, ask me again. Okay, when do we exfoliate? So I've been kind of hinting throughout this whole webinar, when we are supposed to exfoliate. But I mean, if you're having these treatments, I think it's best, after microneedling, right around 7 days. If we do it a little bit before, now I have some clients that are like, I can't be flaky, I have an event, I have something, You can use the enzymes before the 7-day mark, but know that it might set you back a little bit because those enzymes are going to, you know, cause that new tissue to want to peel again. So rather than healing in 7 to 10 days, it might take you 15 or more days to heal. But you can do it. It's not going to injure your new skin. It's just going to set you back a little bit. That's why I have these times marked up, because if you're 10 to 14 days out after a chemical peel, I know the enzyme isn't going to hurt you. Lasers, yeah. I mean, I don't know how somebody could go in for a laser and not go home with an enzyme. It just makes no sense to me, because you're going to be crusty, you're going to peel, the cells are going to come up. At the very end of that, your skin's going to kind of slow down the exfoliation, so it's not going to want to release those keratin bonds. Enzymes. Okay, I touched on this a little bit, but if you are dry in the wintertime, you need a chemical peel. I know, but you really do. You need to get a chemical peel. If you feel like your skin is dry, it's the best time to peel. Let's get it off. Let's get those cells to start turning over. Yeah, that's really the only way that your skin is going to hold more moisture, more fatty acids, is by removing that dry, dead layer of skin, but in a very gentle way. So prior to a surgical procedure, okay, this is another thing I just can't wrap my head around. So if you're going in for a facelift, let's say I'm going in for a facelift, which I'm not, but if I were, I would want to do a chemical peel, maybe 2 or 3 of them back to back, right before my facelift, or where they're going to cut, because we want to get those cells turning over. We want to thin out the epithelial a little bit, so when they cut into the skin, they sew you back up, you're going to have a much smoother scar. You are going to, I love vacuum facials right before, like the day before a facelift. I have my clients come in, I vacuum them out, because we want to get rid of all the environmental toxins, all the oil buildup in the skin, all that stuff. We got to get it out before we injure the skin. So the skin's going to heal so much better. Okay, favorite enzymes. See, I knew I put it in there. So my favorite enzymes right now are Skinzyme by Jan Marini, Rise Enzyme, which is my new line of enzymes coming out, so stay tuned for that. Pure Enzymes by Cosmetics. So I gave you 3. Yeah. And guys, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, again, Beverly Hills Skincare Muse on Instagram, drop me a DM and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Leticia, if you exfoliate in the morning, would it make your skin sensitive to the sun, or is it better to exfoliate at night? Great question. I like to exfoliate in the morning. Now, if you are planning a day at the beach, or if you're going to be out at the farmer's market, don't exfoliate in the morning. We don't want to exfoliate the skin before we're exposing it to the sun, because that's the layer that's going to really protect us. Now, unless you're wearing like a huge hat and you've got like a lot of sunblock on, I mean, you could, but I don't recommend it. If you're using retinol every 3rd night, whatever, if you're going to Hawaii, don't pack your retinol. Just don't do it. Don't pack your AHA. Don't pack your BHA. We want to stay away from acids when we're going to be exposed to the sun in that magnitude. We can exfoliate you when you come back from your vacation. Okay, guys, I think that's a wrap for today. I think I answered everybody's questions. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds. If you have questions, hit me now with them. But I really wanted to thank you for tuning in. This is something that I wanted to do while we're all in quarantine, just to kind of get us, thinking about our skin and how we're going to address it when we get back to real life. Next Monday is my very last webinar. And what it's going to be about is it's going to be all of my must-haves. So all my favorite things. I know I'm not Oprah, but I'm me, and I want to do all my favorite things. So I will be doing that next week. So make sure you come back and tune in next Monday. Okay, so I've got a ton of questions here, and I'm going to try to answer all of them. Um, okay. Best enzyme for the body cost-wise. Well, um, I'm gonna have to research that out. Probably either Skinzyme or the Rise enzyme. Yeah, there's not a lot out there, I'm telling you. Um, Thoughts on powder enzymes? Love them. Love, love, love powder enzyme. You can reconstitute with a little water. Usually they're a little granule too, so you get a little physical exfoliation. Love them all. You are welcome, Rachel. Thank you for tuning in. Um, Lily, you're so very welcome. What to use to moisturize the skin instead of a thick white moisturizer? Okay, Jen. So I have a new line of facial oils that I think you need to know about. A lady makes them in Oregon. Her name is Hari Prakash Boyd, and her company is called Samaya Organics. I have all my clients using her facial oil. I'm actually going to bring them into my medical office as soon as we get back out of this quarantine. Um, I can't live without them. They're unrefined oils. They come from the seed of the plant. Super, super rich, delicious. I am as acne prone as they come. I don't break out. She puts in a therapeutic dose of blue tansy, which is azulene, in it. And they're the bomb. Amazing. I don't think you need, if you're using that oil, if you're using peptides, you don't need a moisturizer. I said it. You're welcome, guys. Oh, so sweet. Mhm. All right, I think that's a wrap. So thanks for tuning in. I'm going to post my next one as soon as I hang up with you guys. So make sure you register. It's in my link tree on my profile, and I'll see you next Monday at 11.